Hello everybody, it's Sheila back again. Welcome to my channel. This is another one of my little rants. I'm going to show you something that I found out with these needles. Something that's very annoying. I'm going to show you, I was using those needles to knit, this is Sandra's cardigan. I'm on to the last sleeve. I've got it all stitched. I'll show you how much I've got done of this cardigan. Just one more sleeve and then the bands and it's finished. I normally work on my own things during the day, but as I'm going to bingo tonight and I'll not have time to work on this tonight, I'm going to try and finish it today, at least until tea time anyway. I go out just after 5, so I've got until then to do this. Looks a little bit deeper, the colour on this picture. It's because of the light from my living room window. This is I've got this on the floor and a big cloth on the floor and the cardigan over it. Not that my carpet's dirty, but it looks better over the cloth. And now I'm going to show you why I'm on a rant about these needles. Well, I've been knitting, and I don't know if you can see, it's probably more my eyes, but you see how the tension, there's lines. I started knitting with these needles here, and I've done most of the cardigan with these needles. I think the back I did with these ones. These are just cheap ones that I bought from Wilko. I think they cost me £2. These ones are a lot more expensive. I was going to buy a whole set of these, but I've changed my mind and I'm going to tell you why. I don't know if you can see, but this like lines across the stitch, and like as though my tension hasn't stayed even. That's the only way I can put it. I started knitting with these ones after I had finished the rib, and I've had this problem with most of the cardigan, seeing these tension lines that I just could not get away with. Well, when I'm knitting, I wrap the wool around my finger like that, and that's how I keep the tension when I'm knitting, and it's worked most of my life until I started knitting with these needles. And then I started noticing the lines going across, and I started knitting with the Zing, and I stopped about here, and I've worked from here up to there with these needles. And while you might see there's nobody's perfect, some people do have a little bit, you know, you get lines across your knitting where your tensions either changes slightly sometimes, but there's not very little difference, you know, the tension is more or less the same. And apart from this bit down the bottom here where I was using the Zing. Well, I noticed this most of the time I was knitting the cardigan, and I kept trying to change my tension. I was taking the yarn like that and round my finger, thinking my tension wasn't tight enough, and trying, and it just didn't seem to make any difference. And anyway, I was getting a little bit sick of this, you know, and I thought it must be me, it must just be me age and that. And I don't know, but out of curiosity, I got my tension gauge. And these are 4mm needles. This is the cheap one. Now put it in and it goes through. You can see I don't know if you can see where it says 4mm. Yeah, that's a 4mm. Yeah, you can see where I'm putting it in. Now it goes in No trouble at all. Maybe it's just slight bit of resistance. And that's the way it should be. That's that one. And this one. Same again, slight bit of resistance, but goes in and out, no trouble at all. Yeah, right, I've got this one here. I've changed to this knitting here with the Zing. Put this one in. Perfect. Slight resistance when it goes in and no trouble at all. This one. Will not go through. It is not 4mm, this needle. So I've got two needles, one's 4mm and one is slightly larger. And that's why I'm getting those lines across my knitting. One needle is bigger than the other, so it's making a bigger stitch. And I noticed all those lines I have been getting, it's on alternate rows. So I've forced it in. That's as far as I can get it, forcing it in, and I've got to pull hard to get it out. And that's on the proper 4mm thing. So these could just be one pair of needles, but I will not be buying any more of these. I'll stick with the ones I know. These ones, while they're great to knit with, they're great feeling to knit with them. And I changed onto, I'm using 4mm. This is little Tommy's cardigan, and these are 4mm as well. And because this is an all over pattern where there's not just, you know, any plain rows like the rosebud one, you won't see any difference with the needle. So they'll be great for knitting these. This is the kind of thing I'll knit with these. I will not knit anything where you have rows of plain knitting, because that's what it's going to do. You're going to have one row of larger stitches than the row below. It was a lovely thought, Sandra, sending these needles to me, but I think a lot of other people should test them and see whether they've had the same problem I have had. Because I think that is disgusting, that, getting a pair of needles and one of them is a thicker, I don't know what you call it, the diameter, is it the round part, the diameter, I think that's disgusting, that. When it's took me knitting nearly a whole cardigan to find out why my tension wasn't the way it should have been. But anyway, they'll come in handy for these sort of things, and I do quite a lot of these sort of things, so these 4mm needles will be okay for that. So that's just my little rant over for today. I don't know how many more rants I'm going to find, but that's me. If there's a rant, you're going to hear about it. And I have got my bingo tonight. So I'm going to be knitting my order instead of Tommy's, because as soon as I finish the order I can get on with the Tommy's, and it'll not take me, being a child's cardigan, it'll not take me long to finish that. And I'll be leaving my usual time, about 5:15, to pick my friend up and get to the bingo, and hope that we are as lucky as we have been the last couple of weeks. I was lucky. I was thinking the last couple of weeks my luck was in, because I even had a premium bond up this month, and well, that was the start of the month, so the bingo went on the next couple of weeks with even more luck. So I hope it carries on for the rest of the month, and then I hope at the beginning of the next month I have another premium bond up. But instead of being £25, I'd like £1 million, please. You never know. So that's my little bit for today, my little rant and my little bit of information. So bye for now. Thumbs up and subscribe.